America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was to put him, excuse me.
Now, it may get bigger, it may get a little bigger, it may not get bigger at all. We'll see what happens. But regardless of what happens, we're totally prepared.
This is your victory. Now, I know you didn't do this just to win an election. I know you didn't do it for me. You did it because you understand the enormity of the task that lies ahead.
You're not going to believe this. He killed 16 Czechoslovakians. Guy was an interior decorator. His house looked like shit.
Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah!
I said, give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Monday Morning Middle of the Road. Today is 9/19/22. I'm Coach Casey. Joining me as always to my right, your left, depending on how you're watching or unless you got mirror on. It's TJ. What's up, buddy?
What's up? We could, if I was in Australia, we'd be opposite too. So I'd be on your left.
I think so. But again, I don't remember if I have mirror on or if they have mirror on. It could really mess them up. But
yeah.
In studio, if you're listening to us, he's to my right.
Yeah, if you were sitting right across from us, I'm on your right.
No, if you're sitting across,
I'd be on your left.
Yeah, now you're
Oh
making
my God.
people more confused.
I'm here.
How was your weekend, man?
Nothing to report of any excitement except for we got a big Jayhawk win this weekend, and that's the only thing I care about.
I'll say we'll get to that. I had both my sports teams win. We'll cover that pretty quickly in the sports. It's mainly what today's probably going to be about because that's what's going on. We have some games.
Yep.
We have a few news things we'll get to. You've got a story or two. My weekend was lazy.
Mine was super lazy.
I had to work Saturday morning, did some stuff around here. Sunday, got up, mowed, did that stuff. I can't say super lazy, but then I just watched football. You know, once I was done Saturday pretty early, and once I was done Sunday, that was kind of my day.
You just mowing your normal stuff?
Yeah, just the Amy's grandma's and then the house here. And even here, all I did was really pick up leaves this time because it's pretty dead.
Yep.
Everything else is starting to grow.
Did it rain over here Saturday?
It did a little bit, not very much. It's been pretty dry week. It was that thing where you kept. Oh, that's what we had Saturday. We had a family get together at Amy's parents. They hadn't got together since COVID.
Oh.
So this was the first grandparents, like her mom and dad, or Amy's mom's mom and dad being around us. So we did that. Seen some good families, some people you don't see a lot, don't talk too much, don't really like me because her family's staunch Republican.
Yeah.
There may be one or two liberals hiding out in there, but they don't let themselves be known because they'll get taken off the will and written out and all of that.
But they already know that you're a liberal, right?
Yeah, they know I am because it's, more like I only, like when people start talking about it there, I don't bring up my side of stuff, more like me and one particular gentleman, he always ramrods it. And so I just kind of do my thing. I don't, I say, I don't know if that's true, but that's fine, or whatever. But it was a good time. Food, there was none for me. I got there late. I had
Crackers?
To work. Yeah, there was, they don't account for vegetarians all the time. And that's we usually do that ourselves. We usually bring our own food. So, but it was a good time. And then watch football.
There's a lot of football on last weekend.
Oh, man, so much. Real quick before we get to sports, I did want to point out, we're all becoming socialists. You get mad about it or not, but we're all becoming that way. And so the only thing I had was stimulus update, direct one-time $3,200 check payments to be sent in 3 days to Alaskan residents. And so the only reason I pulled the story was I didn't realize it was for Alaska. I thought they were going to send another thing out that had been quiet. But I guess they already get, their money anyway for the oil. Alaska residents will receive a one-time direct payment of over $3,000 in 3 days. Residents can receive up to $3,284 courtesy of a provision in Alaska's annual budget that aims to alleviate financial burdens, particularly the rising cost of everyday items.
Could you imagine, shit's expensive here already. Could you imagine what it is in Alaska? Trying to get something up there?
Yeah, we had a listener, or I don't remember who it was, used to send us pictures from like just a convenience store somewhere in Alaska, and it was things like you wouldn't think about, like honey bun or something like that. That's at most 75 cents, and it would be like $4.75.
Oh, it's probably
Or a bag of chips was like 13 or 4. I mean, it wasn't like $50 or something insane,
Yeah.
but it was still quadruple. Everything. Gas is.
I think
insane.
Hawaii's probably the same way. Speaking of stimulus checks, I saw this a while back, but it said, I just pulled it up. IRS sent over $1 billion in stimulus checks to prisoners. People in prison were getting it. You know what you could get from the commissary for what was it, $1,500 or whatever?
Or whatever it was. Yeah, a lot of.
You get a lot of
man.
stuff. Got a lot of Roman noodles.
Well,
and,
you got to think about that though. I'd like to know the follow-up story of how many of those people owed money, child support, and all that. They didn't ever get it. They got that taken.
I
from
think
them.
they were still giving it to you, even
Were
if
they?
you were behind on that kind of stuff.
See, and I
'cause-
thought some people were. I guess it depends how bad it was, or that part I don't know, or what state you were in. Basically, every year they get a payout. This is going to be an extra one. It's more money left off of their oil. They proposed a $5,500 one, knocked it down to $3,200. There's 78,000 applications to determine who is eligible. Sounds like a lot of them will. Pretty short story. So guess what? We're all socialists, whether we want to be or not.
I guess when
accidentally.
you're taking that free money.
Yeah, that's. I mean, if you take it, I mean, technically, and I guess I don't know if there was a way. People, I remember when it was the original one was coming out, and people were saying, socialist, blah blah. I kept telling people, well, I think they'll let you sign it over to me.
I don't know if they would have done that, but
I mean, you could have deposited it and then give it to me.
yeah.
Or whatever. If you don't want that stupid free money, or go deposit it and then go give it to a homeless guy. And even if they're just going to go buy a shit ton of meth and crack and alcohol, they're going to have the time of their life with, especially if you had a family of 4 and you gave them $5,000. I mean, just how awesome would that be? And then that's the only stipulation. I get to follow you until you either die or the 5,000
Yeah,
runs
until you
out.
die.
That's horrible. Also in politics, 50 migrants arrive at Vice President Kamala Harris's residence. 6 more buses to New York. I don't know how many planes to Martha's Vineyard, Martha's Garden.
There's 50 people that went there, and
And
those
that-
people were. That's hilarious. They were like, "We can't support these people." Do you know who Tim Dillon is?
Oh yeah, no, they're
Did you see him? He was like, "Don't you know that everybody's only on Martha's Vineyard between Labor Day and Memorial Day, or Memorial Day and Labor
Yeah.
Day?" Because he's like, "We can't support these people out here."
well, and I don't know that they do. Probably, I mean, they probably have jobs for 50, but there's already 50 that already had the job there.
Yeah, so they don't need 50
special
more.
trained migrants were already there working.
Yeah, and they shipped them out into sea after the year's over and get a new badge. So.
I don't know how that. Well, I don't know if they're well trained. I don't know if that's the case. Just it's continuing. It does suck because but I mean, it puts the problem on their doorstep. Instead of where it's been.
Yeah, I mean, the people that are trying to make the decisions for it aren't where it's at.
Yeah.
And now they're like, oh shit. Yeah. Yeah. There was the.
It does seem like in most of the places. I mean, New York's putting them up fairly well.
Yeah, but they're complaining about it.
Oh yeah.
That
they're gonna
DC
complain.
mayor was like, "We're not Texas. We're not equipped for that." And
Texas said,
Abbott's like,
"Neither are we."
exactly. Yeah, like that's the
But
point.
they do get billions of dollars of extra year funding to fight that.
They gotta. Well, he's fighting it now by. I just have my.
It sounds like they're going to lose, and that's the side of it. And maybe for 2 years they'll probably lose a lot of federal funding to watch the border. That's not.
Yeah, but
so
it's not working anyway. So
exactly. What?
I have my Twitter feed up right here.
What do you mean the wall's not working?
Well, we didn't get to finish it. Do you see this shit with Kyler Murray?
What now? Oh, what happened now?
They won like an OT in the Raiders game. He goes out here to the crowd and slapping hands with dudes, and somebody tried to slap him and barely smacked him in the face. And NFL's like investigating it for assault.
Probably shouldn't strike at a player.
No, they're slapping hands with him. He just kind of missed. Here, let me back it up. Well, here it comes. Look, he's like, "What's up, bro? Yeah, what's up, what's up?" And that dude just kind of did it when he was walking away, just kind of like reaching for him, and it got him in the face. And he's like,
I think it's the height of the moment. You don't know if somebody's swinging at you, or
but
you get
that
hit
they're
in
investigating it. And the dude is 5'7". He needs to stay away from the crowd.
Who, Kyler?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another one of the games. Might as well get to, but that was one of those games where they were down all game. All you kept hearing was oh man, they got to go back and explain this 260 million
Oh, yeah.
guaranteed money to their fans, and then I mean, luckily they're playing Raiders or whatever. Come back and win that. That's another one of the crazy games of the weekend.
Yeah, we had a lot about that.
Everything was crazy. We won't do this one. It sounds like Truth Social's not going to last much longer. It sounds like
I never even did it.
yeah, he had basically the story said, you know, he had whatever it was, 60 million followers or whatever it was on Twitter, and he had 80 million on there, and they could only get 4 million on the True Social, and basically it's coming down to they're losing about $6 million every quarter,
Yeah.
and they say they'll probably close it down. Nobody wants to invest, and it's I figured there would be, but that other one, that one that was supposed to take Facebook down, the Red Book, or what was that one? I don't even remember. It was
True.
there was one before that was,
I had it for like a minute, minute, and I didn't like it.
and that one was going to take it down too. And I mean, you get used to what you're used to, and you hear you're complaining everywhere. What you said you had a story for us.
Yeah,
what
I
other
do.
story you have?
China moon mineral discovery. China has discovered fuel and a new modern day gold rush for lunar mining. It's a chemical composition contains helium-3, a heavier isotope of helium that exists naturally within the Earth's crust, but is now becoming exceedingly rare on our planet. So apparently, there's some on the moon.
Well, have they got to the moon?
China? Oh no. Oh well, I don't know. I mean, did we ever get to the moon?
Exactly. I was gonna say we just you sent the the thing you sent as a follow up. I mean, I still am a believer that somewhere we have been, whether that filming of it was true or not, but I don't know.
Maybe not the first time.
Yeah.
You don't say that to which one's the one that was beating dudes' asses for? Is that Neil Armstrong or Buzz?
One of them, yeah.
I think it was Buzz.
Well,
Buzz
that's
Lightyear.
I mean, I struggle because you would think, and there has been like family members of those people that have come out since that say, well, maybe it wasn't. And we heard family rumblings that he never, he was spotted. And that's the biggest one that I seen. I don't remember which one of them. It was one of them supposedly when, he had to have been up in the air, which they supposedly had him in hiding. One of them was spotted.
Like at a restaurant or something like that?
I don't know if it was that, but like a family birthday party.
Yeah,
or,
on that American Horror Story, season 10, they do a deal about that, and they show like kind of like a stage where they supposedly did it at, and then you see both of them in a restaurant while they're supposed to be there, and the chick's like, aren't you guys supposed to, aren't you Buzz
And I did some
Armstrong?
research on a couple of the ones that guy said, and there were a couple of them were bullshit, that thing you sent.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's amazing.
It's kind of funny, though.
Yes, but you need to do a little research. I mean, not you in particular, but whenever you see any conspiracy, try to do some of your own research. But I watched, and I don't know if it was a movie or a documentary at this point, but I'm pretty sure it was like a documentary of one of the challengers that did blow up.
That was on Netflix, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, the camera crew's really there, the family's really there. They're watching that happen. And,
I mean, it'd be pretty easy to
if you're
to put them in there and make it look like they were in there, and then secret tunnel they go back out.
I mean, you could get all of your family that knows you.
I mean, if you were deep faked, like if the government was like, listen, if you don't do this,
if that was, then they wouldn't let a twin brother run out. They would get face. You know what I'm saying? Like some of that
I mean,
stuff
I don't know.
I'm not saying if it's that right in front of our eyes, they just want, or people that are that stupid. Then maybe. So no, I thought I showed it to Amy even, and I thought it was interesting.
It's interesting, yeah. Well, so let me finish this. It says in a laboratory in Beijing, a vial of moon dust scraped from the lunar crust.
Is this where COVID came from?
No.
Okay.
That was supposedly from monkeys or whatever.
And eels.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Lunar crust by a Chinese river holds a tiny crystal that could one day power a nuclear reactor. The crystal mineral was identified by scientists at Beijing's Research Institute of Uranium Geology and has been dubbed Change Site Y after Change E, the Chinese mythological goddess of the moon, also sharing that namesake as Chinese first lunar sampler gathering rover, Change E5, which collected the dust in the winter of 2020. So the crystal, which appears as a colorless, transparent column with a radius of just 10 microns, could prove to be a gold mine for the future of space exploration. Or
so
at
we're
least
going to be blowing up the moon pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to let them have this. Or at least a form of lunar gold that countries will continue will rush to continue to mine. It's a chemical composition contains helium-3, a heavier isotope of helium that has existed naturally within the Earth's crust since primordial times, but has slowly escaped into outer space over time. So, yeah, I guess we're going to, I mean, if my truck could run on it, I guess I'd take it,
Oh yeah, I'll run on anything at this point. If they
You
don't
imagine pulling up to Quick Trip and like, give me some of that,
some of that lunar dust.
Changy B or whatever the hell it was called.
I call
Give me
it,
that dust.
give me some of that lunar dust.
Give me some of that lunar dust. I can only put $5 in. How far that going to get me?
I don't know. Anybody's looking for an excuse to not go to battery. So if they give us something, but if it's expensive to get oil out of the crust we're in, how expensive is it going to be? Maybe if it takes just a couple specks of it to break down and make a crap,
If it's like when you go
highly concentrated.
it's like when you go to the beach and you think you knocked all the sand out of your shoes or
There's
whatever, but
still
it's whatever. Yeah, that's
pounds
probably
in there.
enough to power your car forever.
A year.
Yeah. So.
What else? Is that the only story you had today?
Well, I did have one, but it was about the leg strengthening thing. So I think you guys already talked about that. As far as non-sports, that's really all I got. But we got lots of sports stuff to talk about.
That's what I was going to say. It now turns into, we made it 16 minutes in, and it turns into the sports portion
That's good
of
because
the program because we got a lots to cover.
Let's-
We'll go off real quick before we go into football, just because we talk about fights every week. I only watched one of these fights, and they were free fights. Nothing really. And I honestly,
were these on Plus?
I don't know. I ended up watching it, not realizing they were free. My son said he was watching them, and I have my streaming service I use through him, and I found it on there, and then realized it's like these fights are on. It was just UFC Fight Night,
Yeah.
But the headliner was Sander Hagen versus Yodong.
Yadong.
It's Song Yadong, and they say it way different, but
Yeah.
they're both. It was a KO or stoppage actually at the end of the fourth round. The dude was blooded up. Good fights. I watched just like I don't even know who the guy was. He does a quick review of all the fights.
Yeah.
And he said for nobody's names, and that's what I was trying to go through, and there was literally nobody on this card.
I don't know who any of those people are.
Yeah, I mean, there was a bunch of girl fights. There was a bunch of young guys fighting. That Tony Gravely guy was supposed to be somebody my son said, and he got beat. So,
Yep.
But
Speaking of your son, I need his help. I think I texted you this week that I got hacked. My PlayStation account got hacked by Germans. They stole my PlayStation ID. Gone. KU Jayhawks 31 is gone forever. And they stole $100 out of my PayPal account buying a bunch of games and
What the
bullshit.
hell?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't even been on PlayStation in months.
that's crazy, and no password changes or nothing on it recently.
Well, I got
anything?
I got like a deal that said something about your PlayStation account was. I thought like an email. I thought it said tried to be accessed from Germany. Well, I didn't think about it. Well,
They did.
so that he got into it. So the next morning I woke up, I had 16 emails. It was like your purchase of this is the PayPal charge, and then this. I was like, son of a bitch. So, anyways, if Isaac can track them down, so
Yeah,
we
we'll
can.
have to see if some of him and his buddies can. I was getting ready to bring that up. That I should have brought him out because he watches every single fight card. That's what they do now. Him and his buddies, and they sit on and stream them and do that. So he's gonna start. I don't know if I can get him out here for the live shows or if I'll at least maybe get his take on it or something.
That'd be good.
I thought it would be cool. So we'll start doing some of that. For the ones, I'm going to watch all the big ones. We'll watch, and that the only other fight that happened was the Canelo Triple G fight.
Did you hear what he's the other guy?
The Golovkin?
Yeah, Triple G, what he said
Golovkin?
before the fight? He popped into Canelo's room, sniffed in there, and said, "Smells like fucking pussy in here."
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, it didn't work,
Well, I
but
was gonna say because I think there are other two fights from I just watched highlights and he got the easy win in this one. It sounds like pretty much cruise control. It was kind of the finish of a Triple G. Apparently made $45 million to fight that fight. So why would you not?
Yeah, why not?
But it was kind of the crowning of it. That ends their trilogy. I think that's the end of Triple G, at least in their fighting thing. So good fights if you are into that. Boxing's trying to make a comeback. There's some good fighters out there.
Yeah. So speaking of boxing, good transition right into it is former boxer, current WWE superstar, Logan Paul is going to face Roman Reigns at the next. It's not the next pay-per-view, but it's a pay-per-view they're going to do in Saudi.
Is that putting somebody over?
Well, see, I don't really know because
But he's huge down there.
Logan Paul, like Roman said, and I have clips from it that I pulled up, and I don't know if we can play any of that or not. If it's
You can, as long as there's not music, we can probably play
here we
some
go.
of it,
I'll pull it up. I got stuff from the press conference. It's only a couple minutes.
What so yeah, I mean right now there's no faces that are, that worth putting over. If he wins it already, that's crazy though.
I don't think so. Here we go. This is from the press conference they did in Vegas.
Las Vegas. Acknowledge me.
Roman doing his typical spiel.
Everything Triple H said up here is true. Except that.
I was gonna say, just gotta you suck.
Yeah.
I'm the greatest of all time, kid. Now, I'd be lying to you if I told you I knew all about Logan Paul.
Just let Roman say it. I don't even have to say it.
The facts that I need to know from my wise man here. There's no doubt that this guy's done a hell of a job, but it's very simple. He's had 2 matches. I've been the champ for over 2 years. When he first came to the WWE, I thought it was a great idea. I thought it was a great opportunity for both sides. This man has over 30 million followers, and what he's doing right now is he's bringing them all to his tribal chief.
See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Logan's got 30 million YouTube followers, and it's not, no matter what. I mean, of course, they're not going to let him, but it's
takes him in,
great
but
business.
Well, and he's good. He's great.
Yeah.
I just really surprised he doesn't fight,
Yeah,
you
but I'll play some more, and Roman says exactly that. Yeah, like the way Roman explains it, it's like, yeah, you got 30 million followers.
But is that the new
Because
Shawn Michaels?
Before this happened, he was in a good place
See?
with the bloodline as well, because we're going to allow him to do what he's been doing. Logan, you could be on any show that I main event for the rest of my career. I appreciate you and the following that you bring. You could be the third match on any card any single day. You understand me?
You could be the third match
But
on
the
my
fact
card
that he
any
wants
day.
to step up to the main event, ladies and gentlemen, let me teach you a little lesson here. You need to crawl before you walk before you run. And once you've figured out how to run, then maybe you'll be able to fly with the tribal chief.
He's gotten so much better on
So
the
we're
mic.
gonna do your little boxing thing, this Logan Paul thing, this spectacle. We're gonna have fun with you for a few weeks, but when we get to Saudi Arabia, we're gonna smash you.
We're going to smash you.
And then after that,
I think
it's
they're
on
gonna-
you to figure out how to rebuild.
I think they're going to let him take it from him.
Nah, no way.
I think if they do, it's going to be quick. But I think,
the only thing that they could possibly do
or they're going to let
is
that dude that still has.
dummy dumb run
Yep.
down there, or somebody's gonna fuck him up when he runs down there like he
Yeah.
has. And maybe he cashes in, and maybe he pins Logan Paul
Or something, but
because
yeah.
he could pin Logan Paul, and then maybe I did hear it does say on this little graphic here, it says for undisputed Universal Championship match, but I did hear them say it was for the WWE Championship, so which means Roman would keep Universal. So maybe he could run down there, pin Logan Paul, and become WWE champion.
Yeah, and take
and
that
Roman-
one back,
yeah,
split
ta-
it up or
Because
something.
yeah, because Roman's not. He don't have time to. I mean, he has time, but he don't
Well,
want to
what
be.
else does he have to do?
I mean,
That's all he is.
He doesn't want to be on Monday Night Raw every week.
I
And
know, but freaking, I mean, like when Stone Cold
Yeah,
was
Stone
running
Cold
his,
was- yeah.
he was on he was
Yeah.
on the Saturday show. He was
yeah,
on
he was on
the-
everything.
I
Yeah,
mean, he was on, and even like The Rock, he was
all of them
everywhere,
were.
you know?
Everybody was, but Roman's not
No,
doing
it's-
it anymore.
well,
So
that and they got an S ton of guys to try to put over, but
yeah, so it'd be nice if they could get off. But that's our wrestling news.
well, we'll obviously watch that one and do some updates as that get closer.
Yeah,
When's that one?
It's not till November. So I
Well,
think
we've
it's
got-
November 5th. So
Between that one and maybe we'll figure out how to either do some taping while it's going, or we'll watch it and do something
Yeah,
after. Or,
it'll be like a Saturday during the daytime.
well, that's what I
so.
said. We don't have to be live. We can have it going and comment
Yeah,
over
for
it
sure.
and release stuff out of it. So look forward to that. Now, what I came for, the only thing that mattered this weekend. We'll start off with college football. Did you have some upsets, or well? I mean,
Yeah, we
we'll
do.
even start out with our normal stuff. Michigan won.
Yep.
They played UConn. Nobody. 59
I
to
should have
0.
bet on that. I think the spread was 49.
47 and a half.
Yeah,
at
but I've been
close.
betting against him, so I would have had to take.
You would have lost.
I would have
that
lost
one.
that one.
Yeah, because that one would have been one that I almost thought and that was the same thing. They only played JJ till just after halftime. And
What's
then,
his name's hurt now, right?
Who?
McNamara, didn't he get hurt?
Yeah,
or
but
whatever?
then they end up playing 6 quarterbacks through a ball in that game.
Oh, really?
So, and I don't know that they have 6 quarterbacks, but they had a receiver and a running back, I think, each threw a ball. But then
I saw some deal where them warming up and like going through the line when they were showing those, and there was like 8 quarterbacks.
I think they
it's crazy
have
that they
5
have that many.
rostered quarterbacks right
Probably
now.
so, and then probably
And-
3 or 4
And then
guys
they
that
have
don't even
another
play.
kid that's back behind this Ogier or whatever. He ran a touchdown in, and he had
Mhm.
almost threw one in. He looks like he'll be a stud. So
Yeah, well, Michigan should definitely have the talent.
we'll see.
So
It's early.
KU had a good game against Houston. We won. It was on a 70-minute storm delay because it was lightning. We were
I
about to
was going
score.
to ask you that because it didn't show rain.
Yeah.
I kept going. And
Oh,
it
it was
showed
raining
delay.
like
Was it?
crazy. Oh yeah, like bad. When they started the game, Houston went up 14-0. I was like, gosh, dang it. KU scored 28 points in a row after that.
So you're-
Jalen Daniels is a fucking stud.
he's a freak. I'm ready to see him.
He's like they got him in the top 5. He's a National Player of the Week for college football this week. So.
I'm ready to see him. Against the Texas and the
Well, we got-
Oklahoma and the
We got Duke this week. Oh, also,
yeah
for the first time in the history of college basketball, the 4 blue bloods of college basketball.
football.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
four,
Yeah.
yeah.
First time in college football history. The 4 blue bloods of college basketball. KU, Duke, North Carolina, and Kentucky, all undefeated. And KU plays Duke this week. And I really thought, and I've had tickets to this game since before the season started, and I was really hoping game day was going to come there, which it was talked about, but they're going to some SEC. I've never even heard of it. Southeastern Championship. I've never heard of SEC. Have you?
I've never.
It's a small conference.
Is it? Do they get a lot of? They have some good schools there.
I don't
Seems
think
like
so.
I
Never heard of them.
Okay, SEC.
They were in
Keep it on the tip of your tongue.
Yeah, they were in Appalachian State last week too. So
well, they picked
which,
a good game to
yeah,
go to in that
awesome,
one. I'm gonna say.
yeah.
That was a crazy comeback.
that Hail Mary was crazy.
Well, and for him to come back 5 yards short, still be able to swing
Yeah,
that around.
that was
in.
awesome.
So if that was the Appalachian,
I've always thought about that. It's like
Troy
they tip
game.
it back. What if someone's just standing there to catch it and run it around? So that was awesome. We did have several upsets it's not like about like the week before, but as far as top 25 losses, the team that we were talking mad shit on was it last week or the week before? Well, we've been basically the whole time Oregon,
Yep.
who somehow still managed to be in the top 25, beat number 12
And
BYU.
I watched most of that game, and they
They did look good.
handled them from beginning
Yeah.
to end. I mean, there was really no question in that game who was the better team. There was, yeah. I mean, they looked good. They looked like a team. Because that was the same with me, and they moved up to 15. It looks like.
Yeah,
After that,
you got that pulled up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that worked for them. We also had Washington beat number 11 Michigan State.
Yep. And that was a big one because I don't think really anybody's seen that. I don't know if anybody knew who Michigan State was, but Washington's supposed to be good every.
You picked your team to lose to them.
I know. Because I said it, but even in a year where they win one game, that's the.
Well, yeah, like you said, they got to either lose to them or Ohio State.
I just would rather pick that one.
A&M, which was ranked number 24, beat number 13 Miami.
And that was A&M kind of same thing. They put up a stinker the week before.
They had
came out.
some proven to do.
Well, and that's they proved, why they're, I guess.
And then
ranked still.
the other college football news is it looks like Herm Edwards was fired in the end zone on the way off of the game. Like that AD caught him right there in the
And I think
end zone.
I'd read a story. I think that basically there was some discussion during the week of this game, like prior to this. I think that, I don't know. I mean, I think he even said it caught him off guard, but then I think he seen the writing on the wall. I don't, he's a great motivational speaker. It's come to prove maybe not.
I
the
like
best.
Herm Edwards.
I do too. He's a good talker. He's a good analyst. I don't know how great of a coach he is. I mean, nowhere has he done good as a coach.
Yeah.
As a coordinator, he's done pretty good, but nowhere has he done good as a coach. That, rah only works so much in telling stories about
You know what? I'm surprised. Notre Dame also got their first win of the
Yep.
season. I'm
That was
surprised
actually a
they're
pretty
not
good game.
ranked from winning one game,
Yeah.
just because they're such Notre Dame fans.
I despise Notre Dame. Okay, I'm tired of them being on TV every week. They're
Yeah.
like what people say about the Cowboys, except for this week they weren't on.
Which is funny because we just talked about it.
But after that coach, I like, man, that Freeman.
Yeah.
He after the game, like even in a game they should have won, they shouldn't be where they are. He just said, I mean, I'm so glad these guys could get this. We can get this off our back and get back to Notre Dame football. And I
Get that loss out of it,
I
or
hope
get
they
that
lose
win.
the rest of the way. Quite frankly, I hope they get forced to join a division. I hope they stop getting preseason ranked awesome every year until they play somebody. But other than that, they seems like a real good coach.
That was that Manti Te'o rub because he was at the game.
Oh, was he?
Yep.
Well, see, then there we go. They got the love from him.
Yep.
Top 25 doesn't change much. Georgia 1, Alabama 2, Ohio State 3, Michigan. The only real change was Oklahoma State moving to 9. Kentucky moves up to 8.
Yeah. Well, actually, they switched spots.
Yeah.
But if you look here, Oregon went up 10, the biggest jump of the week.
Yep.
The next one would be Ole Miss went up 4.
Which I'm surprised they're not ranked higher, but they haven't played much.
Yeah. BYU went down 7 spots
Washington
to 19.
jumped up.
And Miami went down
Fell all the
12
way to
spots.
25, yeah. And I think they'll probably fall out next week.
KU got some votes. They're sitting about 30th right now. So I think
because they were 54 coming into the week.
Yeah, they're sitting at 30 right now. And if we get this win this week, we could maybe poke in the top 25.
Especially if one of these 2-1 teams falls off.
Yeah,
We'll have
there's
to look
got to
at-
be.
I don't know what big games there are this week. I don't have that pulled up. But I'm sure there'll be somebody get upset.
I mean, look, there's several 2-1 teams on here. I mean, A&M's got 2-1. They lost to nobody, but they also just won a big game too. So who knows? Slow and steady. I honestly think going into playing OU, which would be week 7, KU is going to be 6-0.
For you, I hope. I mean, I don't doubt it. They're definitely. I still watched them play a lot of football last year, and I know they're an extremely different team, and they were in a lot of games the last 2 or 3 years.
And they always play OU tight anyways, so
Yeah.
even back to when Baker
it
was
would really throw my picks off if they did. And then so far, you also I didn't want to bring that up, but you had picked them losing this week.
Yep, but
that
I
was
still
me.
said-
I did that to you though because I talked you into Houston being a good team when they were in a big bowl last year. I mean, they were
and
one of the top teams.
KU's just really good. They have sound
I don't
defense.
think Houston's
and-
very good either, though.
but KU has a great defense, and their
No, they're
offense
good.
is awesome.
They're fun
Yeah.
to watch. I'm ready to see them start playing. And luckily in the Big 12, there's 3 or 4 good matchups, and then they have a lot of winnable contests there.
Yeah, the bad thing is they got
If this was the year they went to 12, you may have a chance.
they got OU, Baylor, Oklahoma State 3 games in a row. That's going to be a rough stretch. But
yeah.
just
Well, this is
just
to
think,
find out
just
if
say they
they're-
won all those games.
But to the fact that you can even think about it right now, because last year, the year before, since Todd Reesing, you can't really. I
Yeah.
mean, there's been the Charlie Weiss era starting. Everybody thought that was going to be good. The start of this LSU doucher that just left,
Yeah.
everybody thought was going to be good. Nobody thought the Buffalo. Actually, when that Buffalo guy, when he first
the
came,
first Buffalo guy, the black guy.
yeah, everybody thought he was going to be good.
Yeah,
and then
he
he
didn't
got
do
drummed
it.
out after 2 years. That's the other problem. And luckily, of course, this guy is only his second year there or third.
It's his second year, but he didn't get hired until May of last year. So he didn't get like the whole season. Normal. I mean, he got the whole season, but he didn't get a typical, start in the spring.
Couple of the biggest games next week: Clemson and West Virginia. So West Virginia could help you there by falling out because they're ranked 21. Michigan plays Maryland. It'll be our kind of first.
West Virginia.
Or not? What did I say?
Wake Forest. You said
Wake
West
Forest, sorry.
Virginia.
Yeah, they
but
play
you
Wake
meant
Forest. Sorry, yeah. There's really not any other giant matchups that look like they help you a ton. Florida, Tennessee.
yeah.
Tennessee beating Florida could help you. Really, Texas Tech and Texas. If Texas Tech can knock off, which they're looking pretty bad, but Texas, you just don't ever know what team week to week. North Carolina and Notre Dame next week, and that's a 1-point game, so that ought to be a pretty good one. We'll find out if North Carolina stays undefeated. Appalachian State, I don't really care about. So I think those are your main one. I guess Oregon and Washington.
Yeah, because
Washington
State, but that Washington State beat. Didn't they beat somebody last week? Not this week, but week 2. They beat.
Well, and you've
some
got
top
you got a bunch of
25
games
team.
that can help because you got Arkansas and Texas A&M as well. That if Arkansas does what they've been doing, should knock Texas. Of course, does that knock Texas A&M out of the 25? I don't know anymore.
Yeah,
I got
sure.
Vanderbilt beating Alabama this. Oh. All right, so that was college football for this
And
week.
Move on to the NFL. We did have some. I just think it's funny how I was like, yeah, Cowboys are on TV every week, and I go to look for the game, and I text you and I said, what the fuck? The Cowboys are on TV.
So basically, how it goes is if the Cowboys don't play at home and they play an AFC team, and Denver's also playing at the same time, Denver gets the run, which was a horrible
just
game.
here.
Yeah, just
But
here.
they were playing against the Texans, which was
But it was on an ABC channel. I don't know why.
Yeah,
So
CBS.
Fox owns the home games for like every
Cowboys.
Cowboys game,
Yeah.
except for maybe one a year is there. Luckily, again, to my streaming service, I was able to watch most of the game. Not a great game as a Cowboys fan, except for we got the win. I mean, with a backup quarterback, jumped out on him and then made it scary at the end. There was a bunch of crazy football games. I guess lead off with probably the biggest game, which was the Ravens that were killing, and I watched most all of this game. The Dolphins it led off with literally an opening kickoff, ran back for a touchdown.
Oh, really?
for-
I didn't watch it but the end.
Yeah, the Ravens literally opened up with a touchdown. At one point, I think the biggest I remember them saying the lead was 35-14.
I think they're up by 21 at one point.
Yeah, so that was going into the end of the third quarter, right at the beginning of the fourth, and basically Tua ends up with what he ended up with.
6 touchdowns and 2
6
interceptions.
touchdowns, 400 and something yards throwing. You had 2 receivers that end up with Tua
Tyreek
ends
Hill
up with 469, 6 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. You have Tyreek Hill,
190 and 171.
yeah, both of them 11 catches, average 15.5, 13.7. Then you still throw one for good luck to Gesicki. And I don't even know who the other one went to. Oh, River. Oh, that was my
white
River,
boy.
River Craycraft. It was my favorite name of the day, Craycraft.
Craycraft?
River Craycraft. I don't know if he's related to River Phoenix. I don't think
so. He's dead.
But basically, they end it very into the game, and actually the Ravens had one last chance to do it, and
I did see that. Which Lamar had plenty of time back there, and he barely got it there. I figured his arm was strong, but that ball had no arc to it. It was basically on a rope straight there. So I mean, the dude, yeah.
I don't know if they.
I mean, he is a running back, so.
Yeah, I mean, even in that game where, that's the other side of that coin is, in a game where I have him in my fantasy league, so it was kind of nice. But he throws for 318, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, runs 9 carries for 119 yards and a touchdown. That's everybody talks about, the new age players and the league's in trouble, and I'm fine watching that.
Yeah, I like that kind of stuff.
That was a good game. Tua, that poor kid has been, looked over for every quarter. I mean, they were going to go pick up Deshaun Watson. They wanted to get a 45-year-old Tom Brady. They wanted to get anybody but that kid, and then he leads them back. So that was an awesome game. Another game that was a crazy one was the Lions and the Washington game.
Did you see that deal with the player that they cut? His name is Skip. He was.
Lions
Did
cut?
you watch any of the Hard Knocks at all?
Didn't. No, I wish I would have. They talked a lot about it.
Well, they showed him on there getting cut, and it was pretty sad. The guy was kind of crying. He was like, "I don't know what I need to do to make the team," and so they cut him and then put him on the practice squad, and then a bunch of players got hurt, and then he ended up getting that. See if you can pull that up. Cut. Anyways, he made the team, and then he ended up starting his first ever NFL start, and they gave him a big chip. I'm sorry, I said Skip, chip, and find it where he's
Dan Skipper's inspiration.
Yeah. Yeah, and they just yep, this is it right there.
Dan Skipper's inspiring comeback story helps.
Yeah, keep going down. You can see the Lions coach say, "How about Skip?" That's him talking, but keep going down and see if you can find where he's.
Oh,
The coach
Dan-
gets him in the locker
Dan
room.
Campbell, man, he was the
Dude, I
Cowboys
would run through
ex-tight
a
end.
wall with it for him, man.
I just watched a thing on. They had it up on this other one. I just watched a thing where they had Eminem at their practice, and he came over. He's like, "I'm such a fan of yours," and
yeah, I couldn't imagine. I would play for that guy.
so what position did this guy?
He's a
play?
lineman, 6'9", 300 pound. They moved him. You're getting closer.
I don't know, man.
Gosh, dang it! It's hit right. That's it, right there.
Hey, Skip, that's freaking job.
Look at him. Oh, come on.
It's Twitter.
How cool is that? Dude gets his first start ever in the NFL game and dominates, and then gets a whole. Just after him getting cut,
And then they're
was
going to
sad.
cut him and move him back to practice squad this
I
week.
hope not. Not after that. But it's good to see.
So that game ended up being a crazy one. Lions they were, kind of controlling the game. Then it came back to look like Washington was going to come back and dominate that one. Lions finishing off, end up winning, by a touchdown, but it was close. The biggest game that blew my mind, and we've already talked about two crazy ones, Jets-Browns yesterday.
I saw a little bit of stuff on it, but
So this game, I don't care about the Browns either way. I don't care because they signed him. It's football, all that. I just don't like them. I get tired of hearing how they're going to be good every year. They dominated this game. They were up. Well, I guess they didn't really dominate because it was 14-14. They were up. Well, they scored the last 17 points, so they were up 13 or whatever, at 30-14 after beginning of the fourth quarter, and with a minute 43 left, they were up by 2 touchdowns, and they got a touchdown, got the onside kick, went down and scored. Rookie kid that their whole team's so young, and I mean, this is the Jets. All they're supposed to lose, but Garrett Wilson caught like a 17-yard touchdown to cap off that.
you think they'll keep Flacco as
I don't
QB1?
think so. I really don't. The guys love him. They're around him. He's playing good.
4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
But he looked also bad up until, at certain points. He had some good moments and he had Flacco moments. He
Yeah.
still threw 50% almost on the game, and, well, I guess closer to 60. No, he played a good game. They love him. The players say they love him. The receivers love
Yeah.
the way the ball comes off his hand because he throws old man. He don't throw hard.
Yeah.
So that was an awesome game. There was a bunch of games. That Chargers-Chiefs game on Thursday we didn't get to talk about. That was another crazy one that came down to the last play. Patriots-Steelers came down to the, a last-second a later game field goal. Giants and Panthers, same way. I thought the Panthers were going to figure out a way to win it.
I saw the Panthers are on an 8-game losing streak, longest in the NFL right now.
Mayfield is bad. I mean, I hate to say it. That maybe that team around him's not great
I
either.
think they're not great.
But he struggled in a lot. He tries to. In college, he could scramble. He is here. I hate to say this. He is Tony Romo athletic ability. He was maybe more, but in the NFL, Tony could scramble occasionally, but that kept getting him in trouble. But
I think the best scrambling quarterback like that is Rodgers. He's slippery, man. He gets in it,
Well,
he always steps up in the
Are you
pocket.
talking about old ones or white ones?
old white quarterbacks.
Well, I was even you look at the way Tom Brady moves in the
Yeah.
pocket for that
Tom
guy.
Brady
but, I mean,
sidesteps.
The best white moving quarterback right now is Jared Allen.
Yeah, well, he just runs people over. He's a
But he
fucking
also,
animal.
he moves around great.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
yeah.
that guy. I mean, but to me, it's and I don't really like him very much, but Kyler Murray, he escapes. That line is horrible. I bet he escaped 43 sacks,
Yeah,
and then I felt pretty bad even as I'm a Cowboys fan. I loved watching 7 sacks by the Cowboys on the Bengals, but that
Joe
Joe
Burrow.
Cool and that line is bad.
poor guy. Well, the other big thing is Niners. Jimmy G back to being the starter.
Yeah.
They were so lucky they didn't get rid of him.
Oh man, that's what Amy even at one point. I don't remember, we were watching a story, and why would they not trade him? Why would he take less money? I said, because he's going to come back to be the starter. I didn't think it would be like this. I thought
Yeah.
I thought Trey Lance would struggle. I didn't, and this sucks that the dude blows up his ankle, gone for the season to come back. But Garoppolo just keeps coming in and winning you games. It's kind of like that.
Did you see what he's getting paid for this though?
$9 million.
No, but what he gets, his bonus per game, $250,000 for every game he plays in when he plays more than a certain amount of plays. So now he's a starter and he's getting it, and he gets $100,000 for every win.
Sweet.
So he's making like $350,000 a win plus his regular salary.
Well, cool. Well, I remember they restructured it because he was supposed to get like $30 million this
Yeah.
year, and they weren't going to keep him on for that. So that was an awesome one too. And then the other close and crazy game or whatever of the night or of the day was the Cardinals Raiders. Kind of same thing. Raiders really beat them up all game. Cardinals looked, bad. It was 23-7, going into the fourth quarter, and Kyler Murray puts on some magic, bunch of running, bunch of passing. He didn't really have a great game.
Yeah.
31 for 49, 277 and a touchdown, but it was really a couple carries late. He only had 5 for 28. They just don't.
Oh, they have James Conner? I didn't know that.
And he didn't do I have him, and they didn't use him much. He was a stud for him last year. So it was I'm, even as a Cowboys fan, it was good to get a win. My fantasy is betting about half and half.
How are our picks from last week? How did I do?
All right, so we'll get to the picks. We do a pick 3, and we'll go ahead and do our pick 3 for this week too. TJ went 3-0. We picked, and this was, I tried to do it with these.
So I'm up 3 games on you now for the season.
It's 4-1. We picked the Seahawks 49ers. I picked with my heart behind Geno Smith, and had Trey Lance stayed in that game, I think they would have won. We picked Green Bay and the Bears. I picked with my heart with how bad Green Bay looked, and I really thought that Bears team was going to be a little better. They looked bad. And then
they got a good running game though.
Yeah,
I watched part of that.
And then we picked the Bucks Saints, and that was another one. And really, Saints.
Oh, we didn't talk about that either.
Yeah, I was going to say we'll get there as part of this, but Saints could have won that game. But Jameis Winston is like that.
Did you see he's playing with 4 broken vertebrae?
And,
he's
he's doped up
dude.
and all that, and that could be a lot of the reason why. And he took like 6 sacks in that game too, and one of them he got rolled up. And I'm like,
they said he can't get hurt anymore.
yeah, and
as far as that, he can't make that injury worse.
But they have him crazy padded up, and they showed what he's wearing because he's already a thicker guy. And
yeah,
he was real thick, but it was bad.
I hurt everywhere.
And that was awesome though, because we talked about that last game. We didn't know how hurt he was, and he has 3 fractured.
Dude's tough.
And that's like Romo went through that, and I think even Dak played like some games with fractured, but different types of fractures. So it was crazy. Well, so the incident we're talking about.
So this goes back quite a ways. Lattimore and Evans have beef. And it's funny because the last time they got into it was in 2017, and it was when Jameis was still the quarterback. Lattimore was on the sideline talking shit to Jameis, and Jameis like reached into his shoulder pads and touched him on the neck. And then he turned around, come back, and Mike Evans come and just knocked the shit out of him.
And I get that. So, and that with some pre-context on it, it doesn't make it as bad. But Mike Evans is a bitch. That's my take of this.
I don't think so. I think he's
Mike
fucking
Evans
badass.
is a bitch. And if they lined him and Lattimore up straight on,
he'd beat
Lattimore
the shit
fuck
out
him up.
No way.
No dude that could fuck somebody up runs up and hits somebody from behind like that when they're not even engaged with somebody.
That time he hit him from behind. The first time. This time was straight on.
No, he wasn't. He was standing there facing Tom Brady. He didn't
they were
even
face
see him
to face.
coming. No, he came running from the sideline.
Yeah, but he hit him face.
When he turned around and looked at him.
Doesn't matter.
But, he's drawn with, and I love that.
Did you see that Bruce Arians said, go get his ass?
Well, no, and you see, because him and Bruce.
He said, sick
Bruce ran his mouth to him, if you according to Lattimore, first, and said something. So then they're walking off, and Tom
he said
Brady
something
says
something to him.
So
Tom Brady said, fuck you, bitch, or
Tom
something
Brady
like that.
turns around to come back and runs his mouth like he's going to. Man, I just wish one time nobody's going to never get him.
Yeah, it'd be like fighting Michael Jordan or something like that. I mean, unless you played for the Pistons.
It is, it doesn't matter who it is.
Well, what's his name pushed him first? What's his name? Running back. Fournette.
The guy that
Fournette pushed him, but
that was funny. He didn't even throw any. He's the one that I was surprised as soon as they started throwing, he was going in, and he's
I guess he's not as tough.
Back.
Yeah.
Well, not since the LSU pulling off his helmet and swinging it at people days.
But, Mike Evans rocked him, dude. He sent him like 10 yards.
Right back up and got right into it. Not even.
Yeah, they went.
I think Lattimore.
I don't know.
Well, here's this. With this new age world that we live in, we'll get to see it
right
after they
box.
retire.
Yeah,
we'll get to see it. So
I was just watching something on TikTok today about how the draft lined up with the Saints end up taking him because they were going to take Mahomes, and it was down to those two, and then the Bills ended up passing on him, and then the Chiefs traded up,
to still
and got Mahomes, and then they ended up with
What's
Lattimore.
crazy is, I remember that draft a little bit. I remember the Chiefs moving up and a couple people talking about him, but Mahomes was third quarterback to go off in that draft, or fourth or whatever, third, because he went in like seventh or eighth.
10th pick.
There you go. But
So
it was just that's one of those fun games we'll play here one of these times. Is where are they?
redrafting.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
if you could draft, where would you be? The games I picked for our pick 3 this week, then we'll play a game and a couple other things here and go in and watch some football. Less heart and more just they were all good games last week, and we'll know more about how this one's going to go after tonight. But first game, Bengals-Jets. Bengals falling on their face, Jets coming
I
off.
just don't. I'd say Bengals. They can't keep losing. They're 0-2, right?
They are 0-2, and
It's like that Super Bowl letdown, Super Bowl loser letdown thing.
I'm going to go ahead and pick them to win this one too. I was just going opposite you last week, but it hurt.
We don't
me.
have to do that. Yeah.
I know. We're going to go. Second game is going to be was the game of the week last week. So Dolphins and Bills.
Bills. I think old Tua got lucky.
I'm just wondering if that's them finally coming into this team. That defense looked good late, but God, they looked bad early.
Yeah.
I'm joining you. I'm going them. And then last game is Lions Vikings, which worked out perfect because we got to talk about Skip. Maybe we could talk about him again next week.
Yeah, let's go. The Vikings didn't play this week, did
They're
they?
playing
Oh, they
today.
played tonight.
So we'll learn more about him. That's why I picked this one.
Yeah,
We're
let's
going off
go. Let's go Lions.
I'm picking Vikings in that one. So that'll be our one game difference this week.
Yeah, I'd like to see. I mean, after watching Hard Knocks and
Yeah, made you a fan. No,
that
not-
coach, man, he's like we said, he's hard. I couldn't see anybody watching
like
them
him.
and be like, I don't like him.
I like him. I feel bad for Jared Goff because of that whole thing. And that was something that wasn't talking about was the first and second pick from that draft. Goff and Wentz playing each other for their, Goff's second team and Wentz's fourth team or whatever. And, Goff got the better of that one. Wentz was, or Goff was the higher pick, and everybody kind of gave shit about that.
Yeah.
And
Speaking of,
that DeAndre Swift, that's the only other thing. He might be one of my favorite running backs in the NFL right now that's not a Dallas Cowboy named Tony Pollard.
Well, did you that I watched the Sunday night game part of it, and the opening part where everybody says where they're from. I didn't know that Aaron Rodgers went to JUCO. Did you know that for a year that he played a year of JUCO
Before he
ball?
went to Cal,
Yeah, I didn't know. If I did know that, I forgot it because my wife, doesn't really know much about football.
Yeah.
And she heard him go Blinn Community College or whatever, and she goes, "Why did he say that?" I was like, "I don't know why he would say that. Surely he didn't play community college ball." And then like some dudes were saying high school, and she's like, "They didn't play college." I'm like, "No, it's like a thing people say. Some people even say elementary school just to be weird, just
or
to
if
be
they're
weird."
mad at their college at the time or
whatever. Yeah. And so she's like, "No, I bet you some of these guys did." And I'm like, "No, babe, nobody did." But so I looked it up, and sure as shit, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
reminded me of Josh Allen. Or they're
Well, I
saying
don't
he
think even
couldn't
when-
get
I
a
mean,
deal.
When he came, he was a stud coming out, but I still don't think he was quite what anybody.
He said he was small.
Yeah, I don't think anybody thought he was, what he was going to be. And then the years behind Favre, and
Yeah.
which made him the superstar he is. But to me, he looked good yesterday, but he's still probably of our era the most overhyped quarterback.
He's
He
pretty good.
puts up good numbers. Does he win? I mean,
He
say
wins
what you want about
MVPs.
people around him. Say you're right, but not championships. He has one.
Yeah.
I mean, Roethlisberger played around the same time as him, has 3.
Yeah.
So
Those are really, really good Steeler teams, though.
I know.
Badass defenses. We want to talk about old Posty falling down and hurting himself?
yeah,
That looked like that really hurt.
well, that was in St. Louis. Is that where they
Yeah.
were?
Yeah.
And I watched the first clip that came through. This talking about Post Malone taking a
Yeah.
spill. It was real dark in there, so I didn't see that the hole was cut out there where I guess his guitar's raised up. From,
Yeah.
and he goes to step.
Did you see him talk about it
after? But I thought he just fell and landed flat on the ground and hurt it, like landed maybe on the
Yeah.
mic, and then they show a lit up version of it, and you see him. Man, I think it was stud that he came back, and because
Yeah.
he shows like there's an Instagram or some picture of him, and his ribs look fucked, man.
Yeah, they weren't broke, but he was on stage last night in Columbia or something like that.
Well, and they said he told the fans there he was going to come back and do a free
Yeah,
concert
2-hour
for 'em.
show, yeah.
So that's
He's
cool.
a cool dude, man.
No, that's why I said I was telling an old guy at work. Said we were going to talk about that, and I was telling the guy at work today about him, and he's like, I've heard of him, and I'm like, if you just look at the dude, freak, doucher, whatever. But if you just give him 15 or 20 minutes, and
just to find out how.
don't listen to him rap. Listen to him sing a country song.
Yeah,
listen to him play the violin or the guitar or the piano or.
I don't like any of his like stuff that made him famous. I like hearing him.
Yeah,
I like hearing him sing like all this other shit. Like
he does.
Dude's just
he covered,
so talented.
He was on your show, Stern, and he covered like a Doors song.
I stopped listening to Stern, but yeah.
And dude, it was freaking awesome, man.
Yeah, he's amazing. Like I find new stuff.
At 45 from emphysema and lung cancer because he smokes like 14 packs of cigarettes a day, and that's like he's on every show he's on.
Just burning him.
Oh, and they let him he was somewhere and they're like, well, normally we don't let the guests smoke, but we couldn't get him in here if we didn't allow him. So then he just from one to the other the whole time he's going. He's a freak though.
Yep. We did get some more questions into our relationship hotline for Coach Casey.
I had a couple too, and I can't get into my email. I had 2 sent to me, and then I had 2 local ones asked of me, but we'll have those for next show.
Well, just so I'll read it again. So if anybody has any relationship questions they'd like to ask for Casey, it's our email is Monday Morning Middle of the Road on Gmail, or you can get us on TikTok at Middle of the Road Podcast, or hit Casey's Twitter up at Casey Gunn at Casey Gunn 13, correct?
Yes.
On Twitter, or you can hit our Facebook up. Question of the day.
We have 2 Facebooks. We got the Monday Morning Papers / Monday Morning Middle of the Road, and we've got just a Monday Morning Middle of the Road page. Trying to figure out how to develop them into one, but right now, and I did forget to lead off the show with this. We are currently the number 12 trending podcast in India.
Yeah, we have a huge following in India.
We have a huge
apparently,
following in India. I make good reels that they like.
They like it.
So we're getting a good following.
I finally
there,
got so many notifications I had to turn it off because I'm selling my truck, and every time I thought it was something about my truck, and it was somebody from India liking our podcast.
We'll take the ad revenue wherever it comes from. So thank you in Dubai and Bangladesh.
Probably a lot of these guys that like our podcast will be at the Logan Paul Roman Reigns.
A lot of them will. They seemed. I like to do a little checking on our fans as they do, and invite them to like the page as long as they don't have too much negative stuff on their page.
Yeah.
And a bunch of affluent people that really enjoy our sports takes.
All right. Well, our question for today comes from.
And I do have a bitch for you after we get to this about how you didn't even pose the question on the one you just
but I got to the best part of it.
You just wanted to get to me sticking my finger in my butt.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of people like that about you.
Did. All right, what's today's question?
So our question comes from Amber, and this was sent into our email. It says, my boyfriend is always on his phone, and it has a passcode. I suspect he's cheating. What should I do?
Well, so these are the hard ones because I don't know.
We don't know their situation.
We don't know their situation. Are they faithful people, or is she just a jelly belly, or whatever that would be? My question would just straight be either if you really think that, you probably shouldn't be with them, but you should just ask them, or like me, I have password on my phone, but that's because my phone gets left a lot of places. My wife knows mine.
Yeah.
So and I don't really care. I don't have much that I hide. And if I do, I put it in private No.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think the best advice for this is you probably should never be in a relationship with somebody that if they're on their phone, you're going to think they're cheating. Because I'm constantly on my phone. My wife.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the new world.
It is kind of the way. I guess it would depend if they're being deceitful when they're on the phone or not.
Like you move around by them, they hide it, they shut it off.
Yeah.
They do that. But even like me, sometimes my wife's coming up and she could, I guess, think that she's coming up to kiss me goodnight and I'm watching a video or whatever. I don't know why. It's just natural habit. I shut it down. But a lot of times it's because I'm pre-watching porn. This one's not I would struggle on this one. My advice would be,
honesty is the best policy.
But I mean, if he's cheated in the past, there is a good chance he is now. But if he has also, and you guys have moved past that, you obviously haven't. So, if he's giving you reasons outside of that, because nobody's cheating on their phone. I mean, they might be, but they're getting together somewhere. They're doing other things.
They're. I mean,
That's the other side.
most
of
people
that. Now,
consider
every-
talking to somebody else cheating.
That is, though, I would agree. But what I mean, if they're having an intimate relationship,
Yeah.
they're meeting together somewhere. And if you're to the point where you're worried every time a person's leaving, I just don't think that's somebody you should be with. That's where I'm at. I'll never be with somebody that I think is running around, and I'll never stay with somebody that thinks I am.
Yep. Okay. Well, thanks for your
send us some
question,
more
and send us
questions.
some more in, and we'll answer them every week, and maybe next week if we have time, we'll do more than one.
And you did have a game where
we
we're
do
gonna
have a
that
game
on
right-
air. Or we
Yeah,
gonna-
we can do it on air,
Okay.
and maybe do some more content for TikTok later. So right now we're gonna do guess the athlete, 90s baseball player.
Okay. So a lot of times when we play this game, we do it different ways, but he's going to give me descriptions or
Yeah.
hints at them, colleges, where they played, things like that, and I'll try to guess with.
Baseball would be really hard to do college because I didn't even give that because I'm just gonna kind of give you the position.
Okay.
The first one we're gonna start out with is an outfielder. He debuted in 1989.
Okay.
He has 630 home runs in his career.
Ken Griffey Jr.
You fucker. By the way, he played for 3 teams. He retired in 2010. He was a 13-time All-Star. He is the AL MVP in 1997. He was a 4-time home run leader.
I just remember, and a couple more of those, and I would have got him anyway, but I don't remember. I just seen something about where they were doing the home run list because Pujols just passed him.
Oh, so you saw his?
So
yeah.
but I don't remember. But I know about his years.
Yeah.
And then, so
Sweetest swing in history of baseball.
He was fun to watch.
Yep.
He made the Mariners cool.
Oh, man.
He made the Reds cool. He made
I just remember, I wasn't the biggest baseball fan, but I remember seeing, that Mariner gear, and I was like, that shit's sick. I got to get me a Mariners hat. I probably had one at
but
one
what's even
point.
about me, what made it
And
cool was him and
backwards
his
baseball
dad,
cap.
But him and his dad playing on the same
Yeah.
team for a year and a couple of years. but-
Back-to-back home runs, too.
Yeah, and you're thinking okay, me and my dad couldn't do that, but maybe me and my son could. Or
Yeah.
you just try to think about the father sons that played at the same time. And then his dad got to coach him for years.
Yeah.
And, that's a cool thing. So
All right, next up, same sport, outfielder as well. He debuted in September of 1991 with the Astros. 6-time All-Star. He played for 11 MLB teams.
okay, that's where I was gonna say he didn't play for very long. Is it Gary Sheffield?
Incorrect. He is a 4-time Golden Glove winner. He played for one team 3 times. I don't know if that helps.
What was the one team? Can you tell me that?
Cleveland Indians. Oh, he
it's
did play for the
Bell.
Indians.
It's Bell.
It is
Albert Bell.
not. It is not.
Oh man.
Let's see here. The last time he played was in 07.
I think 92 to 07. Abreu? No, that's way too late.
If you don't get it on this one, you're not going to get it. He was a 5-time stolen base leader.
It's not Ricky Henderson, is it?
I mean, he looks like Ricky Henderson,
Who is
kind of.
it?
Kenny Lofton.
Ah, man, that sucks, man. If you said Yankees, if you'd have named a couple teams, I probably.
And I think he
was
had
a Brave, 'cause
600.
I was going toward a couple guys, but he played on that Braves team with Sheffield, with
Yeah.
Justice, with all those guys.
He had
with Smoltz,
622 stolen bases.
he was a freak.
What was that?
I don't know. Somebody driving outside. Could be storms. Could be. I don't know.
It was
It's hard
loud.
to know. We got planes flying over. We got ditch people. It's hard to know.
Are we dying?
I don't think so. I think it's just a plane.
I think we're dying. Okay. Let's see here.
Doors open and.
Next person up.
You said I was going to struggle with this one. That one.
No, I knew you were going to struggle with this one. This one's pretty easy. This person played 24 seasons.
Okay.
He's 11-time All-Star. He debuted in 1984 for the Red Sox.
Oh, Roger Clemens.
Jesus. Let me finish what I got for him so everybody knows. Yeah, let's see here. He had 4,672 strikeouts, 11-time All-Star, 7-time Cy Young winner. He retired with the Yankees in 07, and he played for 4 teams, and he won 2 World Series.
And I watched him pitch here locally when he came back and pitched for that a couple years ago for that old man's team here.
Oh, yeah?
He played on a team with his son and a bunch of guys, and they put together a team and they played in the.
Doesn't his son play for Texas or something like that?
I don't know if he still is. I know he
But
did.
he was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we went and seen him, so that was cool. Well, that was cool.
That was good.
Fun.
You did good on that one.
That Kenny Lofton one, I'd like to. I should have studied up a little bit if we had said baseball, but that was a hard one.
Yeah.
I know that era decently.
Yeah. I figured it would be a good one to get into because it's basically our childhood, you know. So.
Yeah, and that's when all my cards I collected were, and I watch. Baseball.
You weren't collecting John Starks and Gary Payton and Sean Kemps?
I had all them too, but no, mine were. I had Glenn Robinson was the one I'd trade like good cards to get big dog cards, you know, because he was a stud. He was like 45-point scorer coming out of college, and then 13-point scorer.
Did you see that deal they say about somebody was saying like if Rasheed Wallace played in today's NBA, he would just dominate. He'd be better than Giannis, is what they were saying.
That's hard to say. I mean, there's a lot of those guys that if they were
Glenn Robinson would be one of them too.
Well, that's why I said given the freedom to play the way, but I mean, I don't think. That's hard to say.
The backed off defense, a lot of those guys have been.
Just like the Jordan would score 50 today. I don't know if he would. I really don't know. I think with the way that they can switch defenses and do that and double, I think he'd have to assist a lot more. I think he would still score the numbers he did and more, but I think, he'd be a way better shooter. He'd shoot 10 times more. We would, if Jordan was in today's NBA, we would never have got Jordan. So that's the game I hate playing. Just like, would Shaq dominate right now? Probably.
But they don't fucking throw the ball in the middle
anymore. They
anymore.
don't do that. And if they do, they're going to double him. They're going to, you know what they're going to do? They're going to extort the hell out of him. They're going to pull him outside of the paint. He's going to become a defensive liability. So there's a ton of those guys.
Yeah.
But yes, to me, the best of any era could play in any era. I think Pistol Pete could come play in the NBA, and especially learning under these rules.
I mean, if you think about it, really, like the MVP for the last 2 seasons was a center.
Yeah.
And then before that, it was a center. So, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, but now also could Antetokounmpo or could he guard Akeem Olajuwon?
He couldn't guard Olajuwon, or he couldn't. Dennis Rodman would fuck him up. He would beat him to death. But you know, like I said,
because the rules have changed. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it
Dennis
depends what
Rodman
area
would be
you put him
fouled
in.
out in the first quarter, you know, and also
But maybe if you put him
Antetokounmpo
back
would
in
have
there.
learned how to play in the 80s basketball. You know, yes, he would have took longer but he's getting. I mean, he's a big, strong guy too. You know, so
Did you read that the reason why he wasn't big is because he had 4 brothers and he
underfed.
could only eat a quarter of what he was supposed to be eating or something like that. But he still grew up to be 7 foot tall.
Oh, all those. Of course, he's the tallest of all of them, but all of them are huge and big. How sucky would it be to be Theasis or whatever the other one? You know,
knowing that you still made it to the NBA, but you're not nobody because you're brothers.
Well, and they just keep picking him up on the teams. He's on like, here's the thing. You have to keep 2 spots for my brothers. And I got another brother getting ready to come.
Yeah.
So
he's going to have to make it too.
4 on Akumbos, and then you fill out the roster however you want.
However it goes.
Well, we appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. Different this week. We'll have, I don't know what's coming up. I don't know if there's any big fights this weekend. We are going to do the Silva and Paul fight. We're going
supposedly that Roman and Logan is the same week. They're the same weekend. Again.
Really?
It just worked out that
trying
way.
to headline out.
It's either the same weekend or a weekend apart, but they're like right with
the
each
end of
other.
October was the other one.
Well, but the ones that's November 5th. So if it was Halloween weekend and it was I think they're a week apart.
Well, we'll keep you informed on that. We'll get to the picks next week. We'll have some more news, events, things like that. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys.